We're going to exchange out the wheel bearing on this vehicle. The ABS sensor, of course, has too much air gap because of corrosion on the wheel bearing, and usually don't have much luck getting just the sensor out. And then how many weeks before the wheel bearing goes bad? So I'm changing the whole assembly. I've already taken off 2 bolts on the brake pad retainer, not on the caliper, left the caliper attached. Saves with pieces, parts, and so on like that. I am going to take these scissor type expanders, apply these on the inside of my brake pads then, so that if someone gets to the inside of the vehicle and steps on the pedal, of course it don't push the pistons out on that unit there then. Down on the rotor itself, the rotor is held on with a Torx type screw, as we can see there on the top side. You also see along the outside edges where you could take and apply a couple of push bolts then after you've taken this retainer out. Let's go ahead and get our retainer off and our disc off. And hopefully we're not all rusted up on the actual shoulder right there then, just like on drum brakes. Might need to clean that before you remove the rotor. And that gets this out. Stick that up there in my magnet, get my rotor out. And that leaves me with this assembly. Of course, on the back side there's 3 bolts. This is where the drive axle comes through. No adjustment except just a torque specification on the drive axle. So we're going to take the nut off. Of course, you can see it's a big nut, and without loosening it before we've taken off the brakes, with the tire off the ground, this guy will just rotate. So how do you hold it? You sneak up on it with an impact. And off that nut comes on there then. Again, keeping track of this nut, and we should be free. Yeah, I can shove the axle in at this point then, so it's not stuck on the splines inside of the hub there. With that then, that gets us down to this point of 3 bolts on the rear. Let's take a quick close-up look of this guy. And also, we'll see what kind of problems can come up with this as it does get stuck, because all we have to do again is take these 3 bolts out and try to push it out of the recess that it is into. So come on down here. If we look up inside, we're going to see 1 bolt. I've already got it loosened, but I put it back in about 5 threads on him. We also have a bolt up on the top here, and I got it in about 5 threads. That way I can hit on the bolt and literally drive this hub section here out. And I can tell when I start getting out, as in, is there any clearance between the backing plate and the hub. Of course, the hub holds the backing plate in place. With that though, because of its tightness, you're going to have to do some work on this. Now, an air hammer would work. You could get in and hit the head of that bolt. You could take and turn the wheels one direction or the other direction to hit the head of the bolt, or you can physically come in with a punch. You can see this one goes back too far, so I can get a longer or a shorter punch, and I'm able to get on that. Now, this bolt does have a flange on the side, and if I line up with my flange, it is possible to get in with a small hammer and hit this until I start getting looseness in my backing plate itself. Of course, we've got 3 bolts, so we're going to try to walk them out gradually and evenly. You can see the amount of force that it's going to take to do this. This is exactly why I'm showing it. You've got to work at it. And with this, if you're not sure where it separates, how would you know to be able to start hitting this hard and so on like that? That's not good.